Well, ordinarily this would happen at the Scouting Combine in just a few weeks. We accelerated the timetable, and he's joining us now. Nick Caserio, the Texans GM, entering year 6. Nick, it's just strange to see you here at the Super Bowl. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys.
You're not getting away with not seeing us in the Combine, though, just so you know. This isn't like, you're not like, oh, I saw you guys a few weeks ago. Just so you're not pulling a fast one on us,
we'll negotiate that.
But no, it's always good to have you, man. Unbelievable year, right? I know it didn't end the way you wanted to, but regardless, I mean, I guess just the defense, special, speak to, you know, the state of the union of your football team right now.
You know, really proud of the football team, proud of what we accomplished. Didn't get off to a real good start, but we kind of hung in there and then played pretty good football, you know, over the last 2 to 3 months of the season, put ourselves in a position to at least have an opportunity. You know, defensively, we played pretty well all year. Offensively, kind of hit our stride there mid-year. You know, did some good things, you know, until kind of the last game there in the first half. But overall, we accomplished some things this year the organization hadn't accomplished to make the playoffs 3 straight years, and you know, D'Amico's done an unbelievable job. So we're in a pretty good spot now. We just got to kind of build on some of the things that we've done to this point.
Right.
0-3 start. What was the spark for the Texans this year?
Yeah, Mike, we just had to play clean football. So it was kind of touch and go there. You know, Jacksonville game, turn the ball over. That was a big part of it. The Rams game, you know, get the ball inside the 20, turn the ball over. Tampa Bay, honestly, we couldn't tackle Baker, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 in the pocket. He scrambles and extended the game. So we just kind of had to clean up some of the details, some of the little things, and just kind of execute better. And nobody lost their minds, and that really starts with D'Amico. And then, you know, played well against Tennessee, went to Baltimore, played a pretty good game. Then we kind of had a recalibration, had the bye, went to Seattle. You know, I'm sure we'll talk about them here a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the best teams in the league. Then kind of after that game, just started playing really clean, consistent football, and the players did a nice job.
Well, one of the things I was talking to you just a little bit before we came on, I love the fact that we have like defensive coaches in the Super Bowl. You have a defensive coach. Is it real and tangible? Because we talk about it sometimes, like, oh, you get the defensive coach, and if he gets a good offensive coordinator, he's going to leave and go somewhere. Do those things go through your mind in the hiring process?
Yeah, I think the big thing, you're just trying to find the right person with the right mindset, the right mentality, and the right fit.
Yeah.
Because in the end, the head coach is kind of, he has his tentacles in everything.
Right.
So in D'Amico's case, like, he's excelled as a defensive play caller, you know, and that's kind of where he made his mark. But he has a good pulse of, you know, his leadership is, I mean, there's not too many better leaders in the league kind of in his role.
Right.
And he did some things this year that, you know, handed off the play calling to Matt Burke. So doing things just to kind of oversee the entire team and just keep the messaging consistent, keep everybody on track. So, I mean, in the end, you're hiring a person, and then you kind of figure out some of the other elements as you go.
The defense, can it get better? I mean, it seems like it's teetering on morphing into an all-time great unit.
Well, we'll see, Mike. I mean, we got a lot of players that are coming back, and the reality is everybody kind of goes back and starts at ground zero. So we're focused on building a 2016 in the spring, try to put a good foundation in place, get to training camp. And, you know, if we can keep everybody on the field, there's always the X factor, who's available, who's not. We have some injuries, but, I mean, overall, we got a number of players that are returning on that side of the ball, a number of players that are returning offensively as well. So you're trying to build on some of the things that you've done, but the reality is you're starting from scratch. So we'll go back, teach a system, but everybody has familiarity with the coaching points. Some of the nuances we've kind of added each year as we've gone. So that'll probably be something that we look at, you know, in the offseason that D'Amico looks at.
6-time Super Bowl champ, right? When you think of those teams that you were such a big part of and building in New England, well, is there any commonalities to thinking about a Super Bowl roster and what it makes a Super Bowl roster?
You're going to need everybody at some point, and in the end, it comes down to your execution as a team.
Yeah.
So we could talk about individual players, and do you have this, do you have that, but you have to make sure the team understands what's required to win. And I would say each of those wins in games were all different. Even the 3 games that we lost, they all kind of took on a life of their own. So you get into the game, in the end, you can't really worry about what happened in the previous games. Once you get into the game, kind of figure out how the game is being played, and then what do you have to do during the course of the game to put yourself in a position to hopefully win it in the 4th quarter.
Right.
The Seahawks, you saw them during the regular season. Let's get into your impression of them, where they are, where their strengths are, and what kind of a Super Bowl team you think they're going to be, because
his eyes are getting big.
You've got a little experience with Super Bowl teams.
Yeah.
Really good team, very well balanced in all 3 phases. I mean, their defense, they put a lot of stress on the offense because they don't give you easy yards.
No.
Their front is very formidable. They do a really good job in a running game, and they do a good job of eliminating the explosive plays and kind of keeping everything in front.
Right.
And Mike does a good job of disguising kind of what they're doing and then they have a pretty exotic package on third down that's catered specifically to the opponent.
Right.
And then offensively, good offensive line. They've been able to run the football. They got good balance. Sam has played well. I mean, there's a stretch there where he kind of turned the ball over, but I mean, they got good quarterback, 2 really good receivers. I mean, 1 excellent receiver, and then a couple complementary pieces. I think the addition of Shaheed has really enhanced them, not only offensively, but the kicking game as well. And I think the kicking game, you got 2 good returners in Jones and Shaheed.
It could be a big thing in this
who
one,
potentially could make a play in that phase, could tilt the game one direction or the other.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem that way. I mean, Seattle's defense in a lot of ways seems, and it's not schematically the same, but similar to you guys in a lot of ways.
There's some elements that are similar. The front structure might be a little bit different, but kind of at all 3 levels, they have pretty formidable players. You know, and they put a lot of stress and tax on the opposing team's offense, that's for sure.
How do you make adjustments, right? I mean, you have a great eye for talent, but like, you know, you came from New England where Bill Belichick might have been a little bit more like, I like size on defense and I want big Dante Hightower middle linebackers. Then you go to Houston and D'Amico's like, I want none of those kind of guys, right? So, yeah, how does that go down for you
and
personally?
the game has kind of evolved as well, kind of what you're forced to defend. So I think you're seeing league-wide more speed defensively at all 3 levels, speed and athleticism, and then you're seeing more teams playing nickel defense. When you look at, honestly, these 2 teams, you look at our team, Petrie nickel, Emanwari nickel, Marcus Jones nickel, they're all kind of different, but they kind of fit how their teams are playing defensively. So you got to mix and match. You got to play to your personnel, and you got to accentuate the strengths of your players. And I think that's what each team is trying to do.
One more. I just
go ahead.
How much do you go back and forth with a Matt Burke or D'Amico in the draft process? And do you sit there at one point and sit down and watch film as all 3 together and go like, all right, which one of these 3 guys do we like the best?
There's a lot of communication.
There is.
So we limit the number of players. We're not afraid to say, you know what, that player doesn't fit us for a myriad of reasons. Here's the cohort of players we're looking at. Hey, what are your thoughts? These 5 or 6 players. All right, are we comfortable with these, or do we like one over the other? If we get one of them, are we okay? So those are the discussions that we have really from, you know, now all the way up until the draft, and that's kind of how we handle it.
Yeah, right.
Where do you keep your 6 Super Bowl rings?
I have them in storage. They're not even visible. They're not in my house in Houston. I'm not a big jewelry guy, so it's a nice memento to have. So they're kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Not storage unit, like
not in a storage unit. They're in a closet somewhere in a house. So yeah, I don't think you'll be able to track them down.
That's amazing. So you don't ever bring them out. The kids ever go like, let me look at them or anything like that?
They don't even know. Our oldest, they were younger. They didn't really know what was going on. Our youngest wasn't even born. So they're important. I'm not trying to minimize their importance, but it's a nice memento. It's a nice token. It's a nice memory that you always have. But trying to focus on moving forward, and you know, when I'm a little bit older, maybe I'll put them up in a shelf somewhere.
How long do you let yourself enjoy them when you get them?
That's a great question. I think you enjoy the moment, and then probably the following week, and then once that week is over, then you kind of flip the page and go on to the next phase of the off season. Probably once the parade is over, then you're kind of, all right, that's enough fun, time to move on.
No,
you'll have the ring ceremony over the summer, but by that point you're in your spring camps and all that. So, but you give it a week or so, and then you kind of move on to the next phase.
Your room where your big board is it as protected as it was in New England? Like in New England, he would go into the draft room and he'd be like looking over his shoulder, and it was like he had to give a code word to go in.
Everything's computerized now, so there's no doors that are locked.
There's no like garage door in there.
Everybody can see it, and you're tweaking it and constantly adjusting it as you go, really, all the way up until the draft. So we're all talking about the same players, so it's really about positioning. So yeah, there's no secrets, not many secrets anymore.
But there's new technology in that room now. I see some of these rooms now, and I'm like, holy crap!
No
like
question.
That's like a spacecraft in there.
Yeah, we don't have the old board with the tags and the lock like you were accustomed to seeing.
The magnets on there, right? Doing that.
Does what the Patriots have going on now remind you of either end of the prior dynasty, that this is something sustainable, and they're going to be, for you in Houston, a pain in the ass for years to come?
They got a good football team. Honestly, I would say probably most similar. It's not different, but the 0-1 team where nobody really expected much.
Yeah, right.
They kind of brought in some free agents to kind of enhance some of the thing. Mike, was one of those players, Vrabel. So they're kind of on the initial stages, and that was Tom's second year, Drake's second year. So, I mean, look, they have a good team. They've built a good team. They got a number of young players. They did a really good job in free agency. So, I mean, the reality is the league's a year-to-year endeavor, but it seems like they're in a pretty good position to give a lot of teams a lot of problems here
Michael
moving
Hawley
forward.
told us the other day that after the Patriots won in 2001, Bill Belichick told him they were 20 players away from where they needed to be, and they still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in the following year, I think we went like 9-7,
Yep.
and we said,
Beat
all
the
right,
Dolphins
we're not
last
doing
game
that.
of
And
the
then
year.
we
Yeah.
did some things, leading up to the 03-04 seasons, which put ourselves in a little bit better position.
Yes.
So I mean, Josh McDaniels, you've always had a long-standing relationship with him, right? I mean, it's really, whatever you want to say about head coach. I mean, I say it, I think you would echo this. I mean, what he does as an offensive game planner is next level.
Josh is probably one of the brightest minds in our
Right.
league. He's had a lot of success as a play caller. I mean, I think this is his 10th Super Bowl that he's participating in as essentially the play caller. I mean, he didn't officially have the title in some of those years, but very smart, understands how to attack a defense. It's funny, trained on the defensive side of the ball before he kind of transitioned to offense. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a different perspective. So I'm sure that he'll have the offensive side of the ball prepared and ready to go for whatever Seattle throws at him.
What would Texans fans need to hear to feel confident that C.J. Stroud's going to be fine next year?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a young player. He's had a lot of success. He's played 3 years of good football. Can't let one half kind of, mark what's happened over the course of his career. So, I mean, the reality is, like, he has room for improvement. Our team has room for improvement. We've accomplished a lot of good things, so now we just got to continue to make improvements and make subtle adjustments and tweaks and just try to build on some of the things that we've done. But he's a great kid. He's got a good attitude. He's played a lot of good football. He's done some things that a lot of quarterbacks haven't done over the course of their career early on. So I think everybody's excited about the offseason and just about improving and putting the work in.
Yeah, so the organization, you guys are still behind him all the way.
Yeah, we support our players, so I think that's one thing
okay,
that to
so I
me-
got one more question. I
Yeah.
know you're not going to answer it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. He's
Of course
eligible
you'll
for a
ask.
second contract now. Will there be negotiations this offseason?
Yeah, we have a lot of players that are in different categories. So, I mean, we'll kind of handle it case by case and kind of deal with it one player at a time. So we're always open to having dialogue with our players, and we'll kind of see how the spring goes.
Right, very well. Professional answer right there.
Omar trained you very
That
well.
was very good. Very good. So Bill Belichickian and all there and all that. Well, while we're on that too, all right, crazy.
Yeah, wild.
Insane,
Nuts.
right? I mean, just as a football guy, you're like, how is that even possible,
Look,
right?
the reality is nobody's impact has had a big of an impact on the game
Right.
as Bill has over the course of his career. So whatever that process entails, I mean, I'm not really privy to it. But,
Yeah, it needs to change.
However they handle it, at some point he'll probably be walking down in the Canton doors, so he deserves it. He did a lot of great things for the sport. So, I mean,
I don't know,
hopefully
actually.
that gets
I
resolved.
feel like Bill might just go, the hell with it. I'm not going to walk down those doors. I'm not.
Like
Yeah,
T.O.
screw
did.
you.
We'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I think Bill is that stubborn, I
Hey,
guess, for lack of a better way to say it.
I want to say one more thing, too, and I've written about this. I don't know if we talked about it last year, but so much time gets spent coming out of Cleveland for what I believe was the worst transaction in NFL history between the trade and the contract. But the flip side of that is you really pulled off a masterful trade of Deshaun Watson, and we went back and looked at all the different offshoots and how it built the team you now have. And in that one fell swoop for a guy who hadn't played at all in an entire year and was facing more than 20 civil lawsuits to get the value you got and to parlay that into the team you now have. I mean, I think Texans fans need to appreciate that. And again, there's two sides to it, and I don't know what you say in response to it, but you had a lot to do with that, and you pulled that off, and that's why the Texans are where they are now.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, in the end, I mean, every transaction kind of takes on a life of its own. Nothing's really ever linear. So I think we're proud of the team that we've built to this point, and we're proud of the team that we're going to continue to build. And, in the end, our job is to try to make, good decisions for the organization and do what we feel is in the best interest of the club.
Were you surprised there were 4 teams that were that intent? It was the Browns, Panthers, Saints, and Falcons that were that intent on trying to make the trade?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to kind of other teams and kind of how they go about their process, but I mean, there's a lot of players, a lot of good players in this league, and there's going to be interest in different players at different points. So, I mean, our job, my role is to kind of just take the information and just try to make the best decision.
That
for
really
the
is so
club.
Belichickian. I mean, I pictured Bill side by side with you saying the same words. He really did. Between Omar and Bill, you have learned very well.
They don't even you don't understand. If he was talking and I was low-level scout and he was in teaching us something, he'd be talking the same way there too, though. He would be.
I try to stay the same. I try to be consistent.
He would be like, no, I'm not allowed to share that information with you, even though you don't work with me or you work for us. You're not privy to that information.
I have a feeling they understood that you couldn't be trusted. Like you'd walk out and go, oh my God, can you believe who we have at number 2 on the draft board? I can't believe it.
Nobody got to see the draft board. The one thing is he would tell you is I was by that room up there in that little nook
That's
up
where
there.
his work office was. It was really right around the corner. It was across the hall.
Right.
Sure.
So one of the drafts I'll never forget. Like I want to, maybe it was a Dante Hightower draft. It might have been that one. Maybe Jamie Collins. But yeah, Bill drafted somebody that it didn't feel like the rest of the people in the room agreed with, and they came out of the room and it was like, man, what's going on, right? It just was an amazing experience, but it's part of Patriot life, right
Chris
there.
landed on his feet pretty good here. So
I did all right.
And on my head. All right, Nick, congratulations on your success, and until Indy, he's not letting you off the hook. Nick Caserio, Texans CM. We'll be back with more from San Francisco. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.